Hello and welcome to Gemma's Window. If you have followed the calculations in the box below or jumped onto my website at gemmaswindow@gmail.com and concluded you are a power year number 4, then you're at the right place. Hiya, fours. It's March 2021. And let's take a look at business, then at love, and then any question at all that you have. So while I shuffle the cards, let me just remind you about what your power year number means and what your month of 7 means for you. So your power year number 4 is a tough year. It's a year where you are trying to establish the rest of your life. It's a year where where do I want to live, or where do I want to eventually move to? What do I eventually want to do to this house? Who do I want to be with? Do I want to break up with them this year because I'm looking for somebody to commit with, and this isn't the person? Or I met someone and I want to settle down. Or is this the career I really want? What's my purpose? It's every time you hit a 4, you're creating for the rest of your cycle, which is 1 to 10 when it comes to numerology. All right. So the month of 7 is a month where you kind of take pause. You kind of focus in on one particular thing and say, okay, let's watch and see how this is going to go. It may not be a heavy action month for you. It may be more of an observing and thinking month for you. So we're going to look at those of you 4s who are working, and then those of you 4s who are looking for a job. But we're going to keep that 7 in mind, that the tone of the month is more about thinking and focusing in. So for those of you 4s who are working, you have very nice cards. You have cards that are saying that you're very good at what you do. But then there's a card in the action spot that's like there seems to be concern about others. So it's not concern about, say, you and your beloved or something like that, or personal relationships. It tends to be maybe there's other employees there. Maybe it's your children that you're like, well, I've gotten this new promotion, say, and now my kids are home at school and now what do I do? I can't get into the office. There might be concerns this month. Maybe one of your children gets sick this month. And you're like, oh my God, this is a week or 2 weeks out. Now what do I do? The universe is saying that it's going to help you through this. It's going to get you through this to a bright and happy future. So you are going to get through whatever the conflict is that comes your way, because you have very nice work cards. So that's a good thing for 4s. If you're looking for work, there's misunderstandings here going on, and it can be on your end. It can be at the same time on the employer's end. There's just complications. There can be complications with, they thought someone was leaving, and so they were going to offer you that job, and now that person isn't leaving, or something along those lines where there's a lot of confusion, and yet you end up with the promotion or victory card. So you are going to land on your feet this month. You're definitely either going to get that job this month, or it's going to fall into place for you, in the next month, in your month of 8, which is about money, which would be April. So you might land on your feet then and get that job then. So, all looks pretty good for you 4s when it comes to working and employment and gaining employment. And next, let's take a look at relationships. So fours, you're in this month of 7, and we're going to take a look at those of you in a relationship and those of you looking for a relationship. So if you're in that relationship in this month of 7, there might be, it's bound to be a time where you kind of sit back and just watch and wait and see what happens. But if the cards say, which happens all the time, I get a contrast where it will be action, 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 in this month of 7, where I'm expecting it to be quieter. That's because the universe knows who's going to be listening to this. And so you're meant to hear what you're meant to hear. Okay. So if you are 4 and you are looking for, and you're in a relationship this month of March, I just feel like I'm getting the Wheel of Fortune a lot today, and that happens. I'm using 3 different decks. So when I keep getting a repeat, it seems to be the theme of the day. And the Wheel of Fortune is a great card. It's about what's meant to be, and it's about your ancestors, your guides, making sure you're on your way to where you're meant to be or who you're meant to be with. It's just that I'm getting, after that, the mixed signals card, like my Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde card, which means that you're not getting a straight answer from a loved one. And yes, this when we're talking about relationships, sure, sometimes it does describe your best friend or describe one of your parents. Sure, so take it and use it. But it looks like here, 4s, that you're not getting a straight answer from I would assume, the person that you're with, unless it's somebody on their end that's not giving them a straight answer, so they can't give you a straight answer. There is, that possibility. And until that comes to a head, it's like it looks to me like your love has the problem. Your lover has the problem in some way, shape, or form. And it's until it comes to a head or they realize what they're doing or saying is wrong, or what, they're, maybe they're protecting someone and you're trying to tell them they're not a good friend, they're not worth protecting, or they were mean to me. You're still working it out in this month of March, whatever it is, some of you, with a loved one. And it is going to be hurtful, and someone is going to end up yelled at and hurt. And that's what I have for you. It's a little confusing, so I'll stop talking about it, because sometimes I think the more I talk about it, the more confusing I can make it. Now, if you are power year number 4 and you are in this month of 7 and you're looking for love, it looks to me like you either are coming in to the month with someone that you're enjoying, or you will meet someone that you're enjoying, but there seems to be some kind of complication or issue, and so it turns into a waiting game where you have to wait and see how things work out. And I do see that, with your month of 7, that's just what 7 really is talking about, is that there's action that's gone on, but then it's a stepping back and watching the chips fall where they may. And that's what it looks like here, that you're going to learn more about the situation as the month goes on. But there is some kind of conflict, I think, with who you are seeing, or something or someone around them that will confuse the situation. And you may not be able to get a full answer on that until down the road in a different month. Now, you can ask any question that you'd like, and that can be about romance again. It can be about job. It can be anything you want. Just, if you don't mind, yes or no doesn't really work. It's kind of when I do a reading, it's where your energy is headed as of now. And so try to, keep that in mind when you're creating your question, and then tweak my words to fit your question. So let's take a look for our fours who have any question at all. Here's an interesting one. Okay, so I'll give you a couple scenarios here. It looks as though some of you may think, I don't want a big wedding, or I don't want a big to-do. I just want to privately commit, with someone, do a justice of the peace or an annulment, something that's just, I don't know, a little bit less, a little bit quieter, on the quiet, and you're worried about feeling bad about it, or feeling guilty about it. And you may feel that way or think you're going to feel that way, but actually, if that's what you want, then that's what you should do. Now, another thing too is this can be that you don't want to break up another relationship. And it may come to that, whereas that if you don't push, the person's never going to end where they are. But on the other hand, if you push, you'll end up saying, well, would they have done that on their own? I don't want to be the person that breaks up the relationship. So again, you may opt out of doing anything this month of March because you're like, no, I want to see what they do. I want to give it a little bit more time because I know me and I know I'm going to feel badly like I pushed somebody into something. Another thing is that you may be rewarded, fours in this month of March. You may be rewarded somehow, which makes you feel guilty. But actually, the cards would suggest in that scenario is that you're deserving of whatever the reward is. So if you can attempt not to feel badly about it and just enjoy it, that would be the advice of the cards here that we have. Well, okay, fours, that's what we have for you for March 2021. We'll see you next month in April. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. And also, if you'd like to know more about me, jump on Agenda's window at gmail.com. But for now, it is au revoir, and I'll see you next time. Bye, fours.